Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will take you through learning English via news. As the old adage goes, practice makes perfect. And what better way can exist to practice than to look at the authorities that use perfect English? Here I'm talking about the daily newspapers. I'm talking about articles from verified news outlets in the internet, and I'm talking about TV news. For this lesson, we are going to look at the Standard newspaper of Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. And we are going to learn how we can improve our vocabularies using the newspaper articles. And stay till the end of the video so that you can get to know this wonderful and invaluable skill. So the headline today is Cult Massacre. So that is the headline of today's paper. Cult Massacre. So these words may be new, all of them may be new to someone, or maybe one of them. So we need to understand them for us to know what today's paper is about. So what is a cult? We begin with a cult. And a cult is a group of people with extreme religious beliefs and not part of an established religion. So our definition of a cult here is that it is always a small group of people with extreme religious beliefs and not part of an established religion. So they dictate, such groups dictate what someone should eat, who someone should relate with, the places someone should visit, and so on and so forth. Now let's go to the second word here at the headline, which is massacre. Now what is a massacre? A massacre is the killing of a large number of people cruelly. So when a large number of people are killed under cruel circumstances, we say that is a massacre. So the headline of our paper, which reads Cult Massacre, is more of how a group of people having extreme religious beliefs and not belonging to any established religion died en masse, died in large numbers, of course under cruel circumstances. I will take us through the statement there on the headline, and we will go on picking some of the new vocabularies and getting to learn them. It begins, questions abound. Questions abound. So there is a word there, abound. So when something abounds, then it exists in large numbers. So another way of saying questions abound would be there are many questions. So questions abound after more than 7 bodies of cult victims. We already know what a cult is. A small group of people with extreme religious beliefs and not belonging to an established religion. Now, there is another word there called victims. So victims could be those injured, could be those killed in a given tragedy. Like for instance, in a road carnage or road accident, we always have victims. The victims are those who are normally affected by that road accident. So in this case, the victims here are the cult victims, possibly those who have died as a result of the practices of this group of people with extreme religious beliefs. So questions abound after more than 70 bodies of cult victims were dug up in graves on land said to belong to Pastor Paul Mackenzie. Is there a recruiting agency? Is there a recruiting agency? Is there a recruiting agency? So we have agency as the noun and recruiting as the adjective that tells us more about that agency. So agency is an organization. It could be a corporation, it could be a company that normally provides services on behalf of the organization. So we can have security agency, educational agency, and so on and so forth. So recruiting here has been used as an adjective to tell us more about the organization that provides services on behalf of maybe the larger organization, and recruiting here as an adjective is specific to the agency we are talking about. So to recruit is to register or to welcome new members. So this organization is responsible for bringing in new members into the cult. So the question goes, is there a recruiting agency? Is there an organization maybe within this cult that is responsible for bringing in new members? It continues, why didn't the intelligence community smell a rat in spite of too many telltale signs? Why did the intelligence community? So we have intelligence community. Just as many governments around the world, there are various organizations within the government security apparatus that are responsible for finding out the various threats to the nation's security and giving that information to the relevant authorities. So that is where we have agencies like the National Intelligence Service, what we also call the NIS. We can also have the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, the DCI, and even Nyumba Kumi, that is at the very lowest level. So these agencies should provide the government with intelligence of any threat to any life in the country. And that is what we call the intelligence community. Now, these agencies working in tandem becomes what we call intelligence community. Why didn't the intelligence community smell a rat in spite of too many telltale signs? Why didn't they smell a rat? So smell a rat could not be your ordinary English. It is figurative language, the use of idiomatic expression. So idiomatic expressions, normally shortened as idioms, are normally fixed expressions that do not change, and they are not direct in their meaning. Like here, we cannot say that the intelligence community did not look for a rat somewhere and smell it. So that is wrong. But as a figurative, a fixed language, to smell a rat means to suspect that something is wrong. So why didn't the intelligence community not suspect? Why didn't they suspect that something was wrong in spite of too many telltale signs? So there is also this word in spite of, and in spite of is a complex preposition. It is a preposition that is made up of more than one word. So we have in, spite, and of. Another way of saying this could be despite. So despite the telltale signs, why didn't the intelligence community not suspect that something is wrong? Smell a rat, the idiomatic expression used there. So there were telltale signs. Telltale. So telltale is always an adjective, and as an adjective, it is normally used before a noun to mean something that is visible, something that exists. So there were telltale signs. There were visible signs. There were signs in existence, existing signs to the cult, and maybe leading to that given massacre. Did police look the other way? Did the police look the other way? So there is this other idiom, look other way. It does not mean that the police are there and instead of looking at the scene, they're looking away. It only means that did the police ignore? Did they see the harm posed by this cult and failed to act? Did they ignore? Did the local police look the other way? As gullible faithful, as gullible faithful, as gullible faithful. So we have gullible and faithful. So faithful in this case is a noun, while gullible is telling us more about the faithful. So someone who is gullible is one easy to convince, and again easy to accept an idea. That such a person is referred to as gullible. And someone faithful is someone who is loyal to a certain belief or to a certain way of life. So the local police look the other way, ignore as gullible faithful the loyal followers of this cult who were easy to convince and easy to accept whatever was going on, probably due to radicalization and whatever. Did the police look the other way as gullible faithful were lured to their deaths? Were lured to their deaths. To lure is to try to convince, is to try to entice someone into doing something. So that is the meaning of a lure. So it would also mean enticed. Is it time to regulate religious activities? Is it time to regulate religious activities? Is it time to regulate religious activities? That is how it ends. So to regulate is normally to control by setting laws. So that short passage ends by asking that, is it now time that the government may need to put some control on the religious activities by maybe bringing in some laws to ensure that such situations never arise? Viewers, remember to hit onto that subscribe button if you are new here, so that anytime we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. As we come to the end, I want to also look at what the president had to say. The President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, had to say this. What we are seeing in Shakahola, so Shakahola is the seat of the cult's power. That is where they used to operate. So what we are seeing in Shakahola is akin to terrorists. Akin to terrorists. So when we say something is akin to the other, we are simply saying that such a thing is similar to that other thing. So what we are seeing in Shakahola is similar to terrorists. So we will also need to know who a terrorist is. And a terrorist is simply someone who engages in terrorism. So it then begs the question, who or what is terrorism? And terrorism is a violent action. So a terrorist becomes a violent person who wants to advance his or her political aims or uses violence to lion or blackmail the government into acting in some way. So that is a terrorist. So the president says that what we are seeing in Shakahola is akin to terrorists. So what is going on in Shakahola is simply similar to violent persons who would want to advance whatever ideas that they have forcefully to some people. Mackenzie, the president continues, is a terrible terrorist. So Mackenzie is a terrible terrorist. Someone terrible is someone horrifying. Someone who makes horror on the people, or someone horrific. Someone who is harmful, brings harm to human life. So Mackenzie is a terrible terrorist. I have instructed, the president goes on to say, the agencies, and we had found out earlier that an agency is just a given organization that discharges the duty of providing services on behalf of a bigger organization. So here the agencies could be the police, it could be the judicial system, and whatever agency that could be involved in bringing the perpetrator to book. I have instructed the agencies responsible to get to the bottom of the activities of the people, to get to the bottom, another idiomatic expression, get to the bottom of something. Just as I said, idiomatic expressions are always fixed, like they cannot change. Like in that phrase, no word can replace another word. So when someone says that he wants to get to the bottom of something, it does not mean that maybe there is a well somewhere and someone wants to go deeper to the bottom of that well. What this means is that someone just wants to find the real cause of something, especially something unpleasant. So to get to the bottom of something is to find out the real cause of something. So in this case, the president is simply saying that I have instructed the agencies responsible to find out the real cause of the cult massacre. So I've instructed the agencies responsible to get to the bottom of the activities of people who want to use religion to advance weird to advance weird. Something weird is something strange, something quite different from what we are used to. And the president believes that it is the strangeness of the ideas here that have led to the cult massacre in Shakahola. I've instructed the agencies responsible to get to the bottom of the activities of people who want to use religion to advance weird and unacceptable ideologies. And ideologies could be a set of beliefs, by a particular group of people, and that set of beliefs influence their way of life. So the president says that I have instructed the agencies responsible to get to the bottom of the activities of people who want to use religion to advance weird and unacceptable set of beliefs that influence their way of life, but of course, negatively. Viewers, we come to the end of our study, learning English via news. If you like it, kindly give me a thumbs up there and recommend our video to more viewers. Viewers, until next time, have a nice time.